it's Kelly, Black Thread Studio, and I'm coming to you today to do an update. And it is Monday, May 27th, 2024, and it's Memorial Day. I was going to say weekend, but it's actually Memorial Day now. And I think it very well could rain every Memorial Day. I'm not sure about that, but I think I say that every year, so it must be true. So anyway, since it's kind of icky out, I'm not at the lake with my family. This is kind of the beginning of summer where everyone gets on the lake and makes sure, you know, the piers are in, the boats are in. So that it's always an exciting time. And I will just say this while I'm thinking about, this is my family's 60th year on Lake Ripley in Cambridge, Wisconsin. And some changes going on at the lake, but that's not for another year, and it has to do with associations and pier rights. But I'm not going to talk about that because there's so many more important things. But anyway, this is going to be the last year, which I guess is fitting, of 60th year, that things will be as they were when I grew up. So anyway, not to talk about that. Anyway, I thought, well, if I'm going to be home, I'll work outside in the garden. There's a lot of weeding that has to be done. I think that you guys know, well, I'm not a true gardener. I just like to dabble in the yard. But I did go out this morning, even though it was a little drizzly, and took some video of how absolutely green and growing everything is. I don't have a lot of flowers. There's not a lot of color out there right now, but there is a lot of green and things are thriving and growing, and it's so exciting to see. So I will show that at the very end of the video. It is long, so if you don't want to, you know, go through the whole thing, I think it's about 6 minutes long. I'm not real good with technical stuff because I don't want to take the time to learn it. So the first part of it, there's some music that's attached. The last couple minutes of it, it was kind of nice just to have the silence and to just hear the birds. You can just hear the birds. It's just silent, but the birds. So it's beautiful. So I hope you enjoy that. What else are we gonna do today? I am gonna read a column from Shirley's Cottage. I'm gonna update you on Bring More Flowers, and then I want to talk to you about this. I kind of started some new shenanigans that might be rug hooking. Yeah, I have a problem. Do you guys do that? And I love that I want and can do all these things, and I don't do anything spectacularly, but I love that whatever I feel like doing, I can either sit down and cross stitch, I can quilt, I can do hand stitching, and now I can even do rug hooking. So I'm so excited about that. So when I get done chit-chatting, I'll show you a few of the things that I got myself to get started. And I have a story of a woman that I don't know, but I think she has already made a difference in my life and my mom's, and I'll tell you about that. So anyway, let's start with Bring More Flowers, because I haven't been doing any updates on it, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay, let me go back and just say this. It seems like I've been gone for a long time, and I have been, but in between, I kind of decided that maybe for the summer, because I don't do a whole lot of sewing in the summer, I want to be outside, that I would like to showcase some other quilters or artists and their spaces and what they do. And I did my very first video with Jill Stevens, who is a wonderful artist. Please go look at her Instagram. And I think I had it up for a couple hours, and unfortunately, she is my brother's girlfriend, and I mean, it was really no big deal. My brother is very private and had issues with me kind of putting up not her art, but her home. So in honor, thank you, Jill, so much for doing that. I had fun. Please go to Jill Stevens on Instagram. She does have a website. She has beautiful art, And maybe I can, well, she did post a picture. She's doing some wood art. She's a wood artist that is based on quilts. And she was very much inspired by the G's Ben quilts. And the book that I gave, or that my brother gave her for Christmas, on my recommendation. Anyway, so that's kind of why I've been a little bit silent. I kind of wanted just to let that settle, and figure out, and realize that was the right thing to do, is to delete that video. There was nothing wrong with it. It's just that I wanted to respect their privacy. And hopefully I do have some other things booked coming up, so I hope that you will join me when I do those. Okay, so bring more flowers. You guys know that I really wanted to get it done for the end of June to enter into the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show, and that was the case. So I've always wanted to participate in the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. It's in Madison, Wisconsin, every September. And I've either wanted to be a vendor or teach or go to classes, do something. And last year I was able to go with Rita, my friend Rita. So we did do a little snippet of our little trip to the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. And I hadn't been for years, and realized how much I really missed it, and it just really got me motivated. So this year I thought, well, I'm gonna be a vendor. I have some patterns and some things that I make that I don't get them on my Etsy shop. And so anyway, it was too expensive for me to get a booth. I just had to look at reality and think, I don't have time to invest in the things to make. And I guess it's just not the right timing right now, because I am still working full time. So I kind of backed up and said, okay, don't give up on this. So instead I submitted to do a lecture and teach a class. And I hadn't heard anything, and I just kind of let it go, because I thought, I used to teach years ago, not that that matters, it's just that I'm not a well-known person teacher. I don't have a huge following on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. So I thought, well, that's probably what they're looking for. So I submitted a lecture on Bring More Flowers, Finding the Beauty in Grieving Through Stitching. And it is my story of Bring More Flowers Quill and Sam, and not just that, but life in general, the things that we grieve, and how our craft of hand stitching gets us through. So, and then the other one, the class is a little trunk show and class on yo-yos. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, lo and behold, a couple weeks ago, I was at work and I opened up my email, and I had this congratulatory letter saying, we've chosen you to be one of the teachers at the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show in September. So I was so excited about that. And I have not gotten a follow-up yet. I've been wondering, okay, I submitted 2 things. Are they going to have me do both, the lecture and the class? Am I just doing one or the other? And I haven't heard yet, but I want to be prepared. I want to be really, really prepared. And so if I do, so as you guys have been following me doing Bring More Flowers, obviously the quilt, Bring More Flowers, would go with the lecture. It also is filled with yo-yos, so it would also go with the yo-yo trunk show. So I am not submitting Bring More Flowers into the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show, because I'm bringing it for the class or the lecture. And I've decided that I'm not going to share that until it gets closer to the event, and then it will be a bigger surprise. So I haven't given up on it. I've gotten very far. I'm almost done. And to tell you the truth, I think I've kind of stalled finishing it. And just bear with me for a minute. I think I was telling my friend Sarah this about a cross stitch that I was doing for Sam, and I think I feel the same way about the quilt. It's if I work on it and get it finished, then that means it's final. Then I'm acknowledging that he's no longer here, and so I think I'm stalling getting it finished, and that's part of the process and the beauty in grieving, I think, and working through it. So on that note, I do have to say that I just appreciate you guys so much as I sit here and chit chat and kind of talk my way through life, and using my stitching and my creative endeavors to get through these things, and just wanting them to, having friends like you to share it with, because when I go to work at the iPlace, I very rarely run into anybody. Well, I shouldn't say that. People do cross stitch and stuff, but nobody I work with. Anyway, okay, so let's move on from that. Isn't that exciting? I'm going to be doing a class and or lecture at the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show this September. So I'm really, really excited about that. And then as we get closer, I will finish. I'll get the binding on, bring more flowers, and get that finished to show you guys. But it's more than I thought it was going to be. I am absolutely in love with it. So, okay. I think since going through this process on Sam's quilt, I have so many other quilts that I want to finish and that I've been working on. And I kind of, when you go on YouTube and the algorithms kick up these things, and I don't know how Deanne Fitzpatrick popped up for me, but she did. She's a rug hooker in Canada. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not a rug hooker, but something must have, to me, it's one of those, if you want to call it a God wink or, a sign that I was supposed to watch this video. And I have been binge watching her, Deanne Fitzpatrick studio. So she is a rug hooker. She's an artist in Canada. And I got so excited. There was just something in me that was stirred, that I felt like this is something I have to try and I have to do. I didn't feel like I wouldn't be able to do it, because I didn't think I would be able to do it well, but I thought I know I can do this because I love working with my hands and stitching. So I guess I'm just telling you guys it's never too late for us to have passions about stuff and to try something new. Not that I'm like really old, but anyway, I fell in love with watching Deanne's live videos on Thursdays, and I can't watch them live, but I've gone back and I've just binge watched and gotten to really fall in love with her style of the way she creates her rugs and her art. So I thought, okay, here we go. I'm going to order a kit. And I really, like in my quilting, cross stitch is different, I guess, for me, because you do go off of, I really love the old samplers and that kind of thing. So I do have a pattern I go off of. But in quilting, I have never used someone else's pattern. I just haven't. I like to do my own thing. So I kind of felt that same way about rug hooking, although I didn't know what I was doing. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna start. Who better than to order a pattern from and get started than Deanne, because she has stirred something inside of me, inside my soul. So I ordered 2 kits. I couldn't decide. I saw one. I keep saying this wrong. It's not called Red Posy. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I'll show it to you in a minute. But I had to do something with flowers. Bring more flowers. So, and she has these little teeny kits, and she shows how to frame them. She shows everything. So if you have any interest at all, or even if you don't, I wasn't even sure that I had an interest in rug hooking, but I just started watching her. And the way she talks about what she shares and what's inside of you, it just stirred the stitcher in me that works with my hands. And I love that she calls it a stitch. She says you just need to learn one stitch to be able to rug hook. So anyway, I finished my first little kit. It's a 7x7 little posy, red posy rug. And the way she shows them framed, they're on top of like wood, like a wood frame that she does, or just hangs them. So I went out and looked for a frame that I could use that was already made, and I went to Hobby Lobby and they have them on 50% off, and I found this one, and it's a shadow box, and I had the rug on top of the glass and it fit perfectly and I loved it. But something told me, even though it's not real, it's kind of like cross stitch. Do you frame it with glass or no glass? And I thought, well, I don't want to put it behind glass because of the texture and you want to be able to feel it. But I put it behind glass just to see what it would look like, and I loved it. Now, I don't think I would do this with everything that I make, but I loved it, and I'm very proud of it. So here's my very, very first finished rug hooking. That is Deanne's, I don't know, what do you think about that in the glass? So then, when I ordered this one, the very first one that I saw, that I thought, oh, I'm going to make that for Rox. If you've been with me for a little while, you know about my best friend Rox that I grew up with. Let's see, we're both, oh, let's see, we've probably been best friends now for 50 years. And I saw this rug. Anyway, she's coming to visit, and she hasn't been to my house for years. And I thought, whenever we go to each other's house, we always want to take something from each other's home back to our house. And so I thought, I'm going to have this in the guest bedroom and hope that this is what she wants to take home with her. So I'm almost done with it, but I'll show you. This is the kit, and it's called The Two of Us. And when I saw that, it just looked like a lifetime that we've gone through together, and the life that we still have to go through together. You know, arm in arm, going through life. And there's just something about that is so sweet and simple. So she doesn't watch this, so she won't see it. I'll pan over in a minute and I will share with you what I have done on that, and some of the yarn I've started to gather, some of the wool, and the stand that I did invest in. Deanne uses something called a Shetty Camp frame, and I have gotten so into learning about the history of it all, and I just knew that I couldn't invest a whole lot into something right now at this point, or unless I knew that I was really going to want to do it and enjoy doing it. I did invest in a frame. If you guys get into it, you can see, but it has like these little metal teeth on it that grabs the burlap or the linen. And this one came with a lap stand and a floor stand. The floor stand reminds me very, very much of the Lowry cross stitch floor stand. Not just cross stitch, because I use it for my embroidery and my quilting too. But anyway, I was just excited to share that with you guys. So after I bought my kit, and the way Deanne talks about her rug hooking and sharing with others, and kind of how she goes through life, I was so taken with it that I actually called the studio and I talked to someone named Ruth. And I'll read you this little thing. So I called Ruth and I said, hey, can you just pass on this message to Deanne? Is that I found her. I've been binge watching. I ordered my first kits and, you know, kind of did the whole, you know, my son passed away and it's been a couple hard years, and something inside me was stirred with the rug hooking, and that I couldn't wait to start it, and that I wanted her to know, Deanne to know, that what she preaches and what she lives is true. So when I got my kits, Deanne has lovely, I don't know how many books she's written, but she has a newsletter that's called Sunday Letters that I subscribe to, and I thought, oh God, what a gorgeous book. Someday I'm going to get that. Well, with my order came this book, Sunday Letters. And when you go through it, I mean, she has all her Sunday letters. It shows her rugs. You can see I have a bookmark every morning when I sit down to have my coffee with Jesus. I, when I have my quiet prayer time to get ready for the morning, I am letting myself read just a couple pages. I really just want to read through the whole thing, but I'm kind of using it as a daily little motivation. So anyway, it said, "Good afternoon, Kelly. I shared your story with Deanne and the rest of the folks here at the studio. We are so happy that you have been inspired by rug cooking and that this may be the thing that your heart has been calling for, as you said. May you continue to find beauty in your grieving process. Bless, Ruth. Deanne wanted you to have this. Stay inspired and create beauty every day," which is Deanne's little tagline motto. So I wanted to share that with you because, I mean, this wasn't even a little gesture. It was a big gesture. I mean, this is a beautiful book, and it came from Canada. But just as a reminder for us to be, that we're so blessed that we can reach out and be kind to each other. I guess that's all I want to say. So anyway, in that, I ended up writing Deanne a note. I haven't heard from her. I'm just hoping that she did get it. I made her a little gift, a little pincushion, and wanted her to know that how much my mom loves sitting reading this, and that my mom is inspired to rug hook. She won't be able to do it. I'm sorry. Her hands are too weak and kind of shaky, but I love that she wants to try it. We even ordered a little kit online for her so that she can maybe try to work it. But she's really been inspired by Deanne's book as well. So for Mother's Day, even though my mom has never stitched anything or desired to make anything like that, we all know that my mom is a gifted writer when I read her columns, and I got her Making a Life, Deanne's book. It's 25 years of hooking rugs, and it's Deanne's story. So I got one for myself and for my mom. So I really wanted to share that with you and tell you about that. So in just a second here, I will break, and because I'll have to shut the camera off and then kind of swing around, and I'll show you my rug hooking things. And then when we come back, we're going to do From Shirley's Cottage. Okay, so jammed in my corner here, you can see there's the two of us. Deanne's beautiful, simple drawing of friends going off into the blue sky, taking a stroll together. So this is my collection. I do need to get, I can't go hog wild getting all kinds of yarn, but look, Deanne's bag is full of yarn. Here is a basket full of the wool, and I think most of it is all wool for this project. And then you can see there is the lap base for the frame, and there is my Lowry stand. So you can see how similar they are. This is where I put my hoop, and then on this one, I will take that off gently so you can see, is the frame that has, so it's adjustable. And then this just lays right on it. And then you kind of stick it on the teeth. I don't want to get those stuck. You have to be careful so that your yarn doesn't pull out here. So what do you guys think about that row cooking? I think today I'm going to be able to get that one done for rocks. I already have the frame, and I'm sure I'll post on my Instagram when I get it done. So what I want to tell you guys is thank you so much for being here with me all the time while I just chit chat through life. And I want to welcome any new subscribers. If you're here with me, then I think you're either something's wrong with you or you're really special. So anyway, just thank you for being here. I'm going to read from Shirley's Cottage. And what I wanted to tell you first of all was that from Shirley's Cottage is a column that my mom wrote for the Cambridge newspaper for years. And it's a story either about family or the town, and then she links it to a recipe at the end. And it's always curious to me how she either does or does not smoothly link the recipe. But it's such a joy for me to read her columns. And I did read them when they originally came out, but as I always tell you, I don't read them until I sit down here with you. I just grab it kind of seasonally, by the month, so that we're in that season. But before I want to read you this one, I want to give a shout out to Heather, my friend Heather in Canada. Heather has been a really, really loyal friend and supporter of mine. And I just appreciate her so much. She's such a sweetheart. Anyway, Heather loves From Shirley's Cottage, and she lets me know all the time how much she loves my mom's columns, and that means so much to me. So in that vein, I want to let you know that my friend Heather has started a floss tube. And she goes by Heather, the Mirror Image Stitcher. And I had to think about it because she changed her name. The Mirror Image Stitcher, Heather Miller on floss tube. She did her first one. And I really liked some of the things that she showed during her first floss tube, because it was things that I made myself, and some of the patterns that I started with too, that I think were like, what, 80s, 90s. So if you can, go check out how sweet Heather is. She said she's also going to be doing some quilting videos, and I'm disappointed in myself because Heather's been so supportive of me. And Heather, I'm so sorry I haven't commented on your video yet. I need to go do that. I kind of watched it in snippets on my lunch, and I need to go tell you and comment how cute you are. So anyway, please go check out Heather, and we will move on to From Shirley's Cottage. Okay, so this one is it was on a Thursday, June 24th, 2010. And this is called Hi Neighbors. It was my day off. The weather was so perfect it denied description. It was the first day in a week or so that there was no rain or humidity, but lots of sun, fresh air, and cool breeze. I stopped at the office to get the paper. There were so many things on my to-do on your day off list, I was woozy. What was not on my list was to get coffee, sit on the deck, read the paper, and look at the lake. Sounds perfect, Mom. When I left the office with my paper, Amy said, "Enjoy your day." What I really heard her say was, "Get coffee, sit on the deck, read the paper, and look at the lake." Well, of course I was going to follow the directions of my boss. It was wonderful. There was no guilt for chores left undone. Dishes could wait, as they usually do, as well as the rest of the list. How high can laundry pile up? I'll let you know. Here's where the neighbors come in. When my next door neighbor came out to work in her yard and said hi, my first thought was to ask her to come over and have coffee and chat. But I didn't. I was in a place all by myself. Lake Road neighbors ran, walked, and strolled by, saying hi to some, nodding to others, and nothing to a few. I stayed relaxed. I need to do this more often, I thought. There was a time when there was plenty of time for anything and everything. Now I have more yesterdays than tomorrows. Time is not my friend. I am the oldest in the neighborhood, so in the scheme of things, I should be the first one to cash out. The exception is Marge, my other next door neighbor, who is somewhere in her mid-90s. She lived to be 100, almost 100. She doesn't count because she is going to live forever. We have been neighbors for 46 years, and she looks the same as she did the day we moved into the cottage. She didn't see me sitting there when she came out and began pulling weeds. Smiling to myself, I watched her, thinking she had to pull a few weeds before she hopped into her blue caddy and left to volunteer at the library, go to the store, and probably play a few hands of bridge. I asked her to teach me how to play bridge. I will learn from the expert. One of my duties at work is to type the police calls. When there is a call about a neighbor disturbance, I know how lucky I am to live where I do. This week, I had to call my best friend and Lake Road neighbor who is always there when needed. On this, the hottest, most humid day of the year, I tried to unplug my air conditioner and the plug took a big spark and sizzled. I won't tell you what I did, but when he came and fixed it, all he said was, "Women." Wow. I love my neighbors, near and far, and that includes my family. You gotta love them. Here's the segue. Let me do that again. I won't tell you what I did, but when he came and fixed it, all he said was woman. Oh, I didn't need to read that again. I love my neighbors, near and far, and that includes my family. You gotta love them. What would I bring to a neighborhood potluck? Something good, but easy and fast. Okay, that was a good segue. Okay, if you're gonna write it down, here's where you wanna grab a pen and paper. Jones Taco Bake. I'll read it and then I'll hold it up so you can see it. Okay, you need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 pound of ground beef, corn chips, half a cup of cheddar cheese, 1 can of corn, taco seasoning packet, 1.5 cups of water, and 1 8-ounce Hunt's tomato sauce. Okay, brown the beef in a pan and drain. Add taco mix and cornstarch. Stir. Add undrained corn and tomato sauce. Stir. Add water and stir. Bring to a boil. Reduce heat and simmer 15 minutes. Preheat oven to 400 degrees. Grease a casserole dish. Pour mixture into the casserole dish. Cover with a layer of chips and a layer of cheese. Bake in the oven for 10 minutes or until the cheese melts. Serve with spare chips and enjoy. Well, all I can say is anything that is melted cheese tastes good. Okay, if you want to, do you want to do a little screenshot or something of that? Jones Taco Bake. I really hope you guys had a great weekend, and thank you so much for coming back whenever I decide that I can pop back on. I really appreciate it. So I'm really hoping that the next thing I have planned does pan out, and if I do, it will be a really big treat for me and you, I think. If it doesn't work out, I'll hop in between, but fingers crossed it will work out, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you can keep coming back. You guys have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for being here. And what are you going to do? Are you going to, well, I'm sorry I don't knit or crochet, because I could include that. But, okay, are you going to knit? Are you going to crochet? Are you cross-stitching? Like my friends Sarah and Rita? Are you getting ready for your next floss tube like my friend Heather? Or are you rug hooking like my new friend Deanne and me? Okay, everyone. I felt like signing off saying bring more flowers. Bring more flowers. Okay, bye-bye.